Hi, welcome to the Wavy Digital Desk. Today in this community chat, we're going to be talking about Reimagine Nauticus project. It's a $21.5 million campaign. It does STEM-focused programming, relevant and compelling interactive exhibits, and focus on exploration. So it's a whole transformational redesign project at the Nauticus. And there are exhibits already open in this phase one. So I'm going to bring on Rehn West. She's the director of development and marketing at the museum. And we're going to talk a little bit about what is to come and what's happening right now. So Rehn, hi, thank you so much for coming on today to talk about this. I went on Tuesday, as you know, and it's just sort of a really amazing interactive design. There were a bunch of kids running around, so it's definitely getting used.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you for having us. It's a very exciting time here at Nauticus, and we're excited to share more with you. We love Wavy, so thanks for bringing us on today.
Yeah, of course. And then, if anyone has questions in the chat, please put it in. Let us know if you've been to the museum. I will also say that there's going to be B-roll playing throughout to give you a taste of what it is. But because it is so interactive, I think you sort of have to go to understand and see it because there are so many different pieces. I'll say from the adult side, I had so much fun in the museum, and then there were so many kids running around and enjoying things, whether it was, different feels, especially in Aquaticus, and also, different sort of softwares and things that you all have set up in Norfolk and Time. But do you just want to tell us a little bit about, what is this Reimagine Nauticus project?
Yeah, absolutely. So Reimagine Nauticus is a complete reimagining of who we are and how we can serve our community. So this was a project that was started back in 2018. Our campus, what we like to call it, our plot of land down here in downtown Norfolk on the waterfront, has really grown over the years. I mean, Nauticus is coming up on its 30th anniversary, but as it's grown since they first built the museum in '94, I mean, we added the Battleship Wisconsin, and so in addition to the museum, folks were able to enjoy the Wisconsin. And a little bit after that, we added our program we're really proud of, which is Sail Nauticus, and it primarily serves Title I students in Hampton Roads, teaches them how to sail. And it's also a community sailing program. And then, as most folks know, we added the Half Moon Cruise Terminal, which is Virginia's only cruise program. So our campus has a lot going on, and with all of that going on and all of the excitement we've seen over the years, we knew that we needed to reinvest back into our programs and exhibits inside of Nauticus. So again, this started in 2018, and we began fundraising for it in 2020, and it's just been such a huge success. It's a $21.5 million project, and it is completely reimagining and rebuilding our exhibitry throughout our third floor. So there's 5 separate spaces that we are adding new exhibitry and really bringing our mission into the building. And then we are also reimagining our lobby space, which is going to be a much needed upgrade if you've been to Nauticus, especially during Winterfest and you've walked through the lobby. So it's a 2-phase project. We just completed the first phase. So the first phase was what you saw when you came by earlier. So I know the B-roll's running, and that was 2 exhibits. And the first one was Norfolk and Time. So that opened in May. Norfolk and Time is very cool. So it's really telling the story about how Norfolk and our community has been resilient over the years. So it takes you through big moments in time throughout our history, starting when the meteor hit the Chesapeake Bay region about, some million years ago. And then it tells different stories, like the story of Mary LeVest, who was a Civil War spy. And we talk about Thaddeus Lowe, who was also a Civil War spy. And we talk about the health and wellness of the Elizabeth River, and just how you yourself can be a resilient person. Lots of topics on climate change and sea level rise. But as you saw, our goal with all of these exhibits is not just to bring in new stuff. Like, it's got to be repeatable and interactive and engaging. So Norfolk and Time opened in May, and then we have our new children's exhibit, which you can see on the screen. That is Aquaticus. It's for ages 10 and under. It's really for them to come into this very whimsical and magical space underneath of the schooner Virginia. So it's like you're transported into the deep sea, and there's a slide, and there's lots of things for kids to touch and feel. That exhibit is one of our favorites, and we've seen such success even opening for the first opening, which was this past weekend, is that Nauticus has never had a space particularly dedicated to our youngest visitors. And we know that that's a need in our community. So the families are loving it, and it's been very exciting for this first phase, opening these new exhibits.
Absolutely. And I went full screen just for a second, just so people can see a little bit closer, at some of the features of this. And then our nautical neighborhood, I mean, that's connected sort of in a way, or connecting, the two exhibits that have just opened. So like this little pathway through, but that's a standalone, of sort of learning what is actually in our area, correct? So just like, learning what is actually in the waters around us.
Yeah, correct. So I'm glad you brought that up. So that is a space that we also, added some new treatments to. And Nauticus has always had an aquarium space, but we've never really focused on the wildlife and the aquatic life that is native to our area. And that's very important for us, because those are the stories that we're telling here at Nauticus, which is we're really focusing on the maritime environment. We sit right on the Elizabeth River. That is such an important story to tell, talk about the aquatic life here, and also how we can be good stewards of our waterways. And then we also focus on the maritime industry. Looking out our back door, you can see the Port of Virginia. You can see all the shipyards, and we talk about the jobs that are available to our community and to the students. And then also, being home to the world's largest Navy base in Norfolk, and also home to the battleship Wisconsin, it's very important to tell the story of the Navy as well. And those are some exhibits that we will highlight in phase 2, which kicks off at the end of this year.
Very exciting. And I was really interested too, and I'm curious what your take on it is. I feel like there's so much connection to Norfolk. So, you all are, sharing about, of course, the nautical life and industry around here, but the focus on Norfolk, especially Norfolk in time, and understanding, how the natural barriers, could help, in a certain way, and some of those features. I mean, how important was it for you all in this development to focus on that connection with Norfolk?
I think it was very important. I mean, that's something that we all felt strongly about. I mean, Nauticus, our home is Norfolk, and we're a city to celebrate, and we offer a lot to the region, and we want folks that live here and live all throughout Hampton Roads to come here to be able to learn about Norfolk, and but also the folks that are coming in from, the Midwest or from the West Coast that
Right.
come here and say, how can I learn about Norfolk? I mean, we are such a transient community, having, the world's largest Navy base here. And we have people from all over the world who, maybe stationed here right now in Norfolk, and their families are coming in from wherever. And how can they also celebrate, where they're living right now, or where they will hopefully call home if they do transition out of the military. And so that's, something that we're proud of and we're excited to share about. And it makes us unique. I mean, we love this community. We want to support this community and celebrate this community.
Absolutely. And the other piece of it that, you can just tell how important it is to you all throughout is just the connection to kids, and the connection to it being interactive, and the ability to learn, and sort of learn through play in some instances, but also learn through, lights on the wall, or different tools to spin around. I mean, how important was that element? Obviously the museum, anyone can visit, but that, the geared toward children is just, I think it's really special.
Yeah, and that's something, we definitely did our research on. We're working with an amazing exhibit design firm who really, their focus is that our audience right now that we see and we are looking to serve is right in that 4th grade range. I mean, that's where kids come in, and they get that spark for something that may change the direction of their life in the future. If they come in here and see that different jobs related to the maritime industry, because they were able to touch and feel and actually experience themselves in these roles, and then it can really impact them down the line in their lives. And it's definitely geared towards that age range, but also adults as well. The core of this and what we've really we're trying to hit the head on with these new exhibits is that they have to be repeatable and multi-generational. So yes, a younger child may come in and experience this exhibit in one way, but if they're here with grandma or grandpa or mom and dad or older siblings, they're all taking different pieces and digesting that information and engagement in a different way. And then when they come back for their next visit, they're gonna see it in a new light. So it's building that relationship with these families throughout their time here, and we want them to come back and experience it and continue to learn. So this isn't just about, we're bringing in these new very cool exhibits, but these kids and families are going to learn with us through our additional programming that we're adding on to the floor daily, and new films and things like that.
Absolutely. And it just seems from, at least, I was there about an hour, but, every time you go back, if you don't have, a couple hours to go through every single feature, that is a place you can go back and you can, maybe focus on one thing, which gets to our next point. I did want to talk a little bit about a specific feature that was in the Norfolk in Time exhibit. There's so many, but to start, there was a table that sort of showed, future of Norfolk and future impact and leveling out and where your energy can be and things you can do to sort of help the environment. That was one feature where I saw kids there, maybe even 10 minutes, sort of moving pieces around and sort of learning and playing with it. Even some of those features, how important is that for you to, look to the future, as well as maybe Norfolk in Time, past, present, but then also looking toward, how you can make a change, which could be really impactful for some kids growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with children coming in and seeing that exhibit at a younger age, and seeing how just little things that they can do in their daily life to make an impact that they maybe didn't know about, or even that their parents don't know about. And it's how can they help, and then you actually feel like you could make a change. But the kids that are coming in here, they are our future, so they will, especially one of the topics when we go into like climate change and sea level rise. I know that's a huge topic that Norfolk's dealing with, because we are based right here on the water, and Nauticus actually sits behind a flood wall. So when you're in that space, you're able to see what you can do now, but also these kids that are going through now will be the ones to deal with these problems later on. So we're hopeful that this exhibit just starts to bring up the conversation. That's kind of how we like to operate as a museum. We have plenty of experts throughout the area and throughout the world that can really talk to these certain points, like climate change and sea level rise at a certain high level, at a high level. So we're here to be that middle ground. So it's you're bringing the education down a bit so that everyone's able to understand it, but then also feel like they can make an impact, and then go off and learn more about it with plenty of partners that we have here in Norfolk.
Right. And I did want to ask, we just showed B-roll of, it's a spinning wheel that sort of takes you up higher and shows you the different levels or viewpoints, I guess, from, different aircrafts or hot air balloons or things like that. And then next to it, you have, a display of a drone, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about that piece? So you're sort of showing movement around the wheel of, different technological advances or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a hot air balloon simulator.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's a great example of a past, present, future story. So there was a Civil War aeronaut named Thaddeus Lowe, who actually was stationed here in Norfolk during the Civil War, and he thought, hey, we could take a hot air balloon and fly up and spy on the Army and kind of see what their patterns are. And that led to what is now in the future, aircraft carriers. So he would be on a vessel and take the hot air balloon up and see what people are doing, come back down. And then that led to what are now modern day aircraft carriers and pilots heading out. And then what they're now using technology for is drones. So that's where we have the story of Drone Up, who is local to Hampton Roads. They're in Virginia Beach, and they're a great partner of ours that partner with the exhibit, and it talks about how they're really shaping the future with their drone technology. So you get a little bit of everything. But that hot air balloon simulator is, the kids are loving it, adults are loving it. You're able to go all the way up to space and back down to Norfolk.
Yes, I mean, it was very cool. And I think, again, connecting that past to present and then where, things could go in the future or, current technology. I mean, I thought it was very interesting. And I don't want to give too much away because obviously I want people to go and see it for themselves. And I think it's a really unique opportunity. So, I did want to ask too, I know phase 1 is complete with these projects, but what is coming up in phase 2? You got into it a little bit, but could you tell us in the maybe timeline of when some of those things might be done?
Yeah, absolutely. So phase 2 will kick off this fall. We will start construction on the far end of our 3rd floor, but this won't disrupt guest flow this fall and winter. The space that we will be renovating will be home to 3 new exhibits. The first will be called Design, Build, Sail. So this is taking what we've done so well with our students behind Nauticus with our sailing program, Sail Nauticus, and we're really diving into the sailing topics like buoyancy and hydrodynamics, and people will be able to get inside a sailboat and pull on a gimbal and learn how wind operates the sailboat and wind power. And it's going to be a very cool gallery space. We're also opening up our windows, so you'll be able to look directly back into our sailing program. You'll be able to see the different vessels that are going in and out of the port. You'll be able to see a cruise ship in dock. So that'll be an amazing gallery space. And then moving forward into the museum, the next space that will be opening will be called the Port. So this is really focusing on the maritime industry and the careers and how we can build a pipeline of our students into the maritime industry, and how it's a great career field to go into. Most positions don't require a college degree, so it's a great trade and skilled program, and just celebrating our waterfront. And then the last gallery upstairs that we will open in 2024. So all 3 of these are opening in 2024. Will be called Heart of the Navy. So we're talking about, we're really celebrating being, having our Navy here, and what goes into being in the Navy, and the different characteristics, but also the families that are here. We're really celebrating those families. And, we do such a great job telling the history of the Navy with the battleship Wisconsin, because there's a great view on our 3rd floor with these very tall windows looking out to the ship. We'll be telling kind of the future of the Navy as well in this gallery space. So those are 3 new gallery spaces. Again, very repeatable, very interactive, very fun. We can't wait to be sharing more about those as construction begins. And then last but not least, we will be renovating our lobby space. So we will be really opening that up and kind of doing away with the traditional, ticketing desk. It's very not futuristic, but it's very welcoming, and we want this to be a space that even if you're not paying a ticket to go upstairs to see the exhibits, you can still come into our lobby and go to the gift shop. We have a cafe. It's just opening up the space a bit, and it's exciting. So all of that will be done by the end of 2024, and it's just, again, it's an exciting time. We're still fundraising for this project. We're about 90% of our goal, which is very exciting, and we're so grateful to the community who has supported so far. We have plenty of details on our website as well.
Absolutely. And, I think what you were talking about in sort of the vision of the campaign, exploring these different career opportunities, or at least, planting those seeds, I think is really exciting, whether it's from, learning more about, environmental changes in Norfolk, or learning about, maybe, what you just talked about, Navy, and what's at the heart of that in our area. So I think a lot of cool opportunities for kids and adults, I think, to learn more too about, what are the careers that run our area and that are so critical to our area. So I think, hopefully people will get out. It's a really unique, set of exhibits there. The last thing I will mention in the aquarium was, I think everyone was very excited by the jellyfish and the stingrays that they saw. So I saw definitely people holding on to that for a good few minutes there. So I think it's just a really unique opportunity to even just see one exhibit, especially on a rainy day, like, possibly this weekend for, a few minutes, and then, just learn a little bit more about the culture and history around here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very exciting time, and it's definitely a rebrand for Nauticus. For those who may have been in the area for a long time, they have just, rode by and just said it's just the battleship, which we love, and the battleship is such an icon in downtown Norfolk, and maybe thought we only focused on the Navy, but it's so much more. I mean, it's really about sharing access to the waterfront and, the maritime industry and the environment. And we call ourselves a maritime discovery center. So it's about discovering, what you're interested in. And there's just so much for everybody. So.
And the last piece I wanted to ask you about was, the battleship. Every year you all do get fundraising from, is it Winterfest? And then that goes to restoration projects on the ship, and that is a separate, but I think that is really interesting that, you all are constantly trying to restore and keep the, the condition of the battleship for people to visit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all done through our nonprofit foundation, Nauticus Foundation. And that's what this campaign is led by. That's how we serve our sailing students. But with the battleship, we are so lucky to be her stewards. I mean, it is such an amazing ship, and we have people from all over the world that come to visit her. We host hundreds of free military ceremonies each year, whether it's a retirement or a promotion. Those are things that we do for free for the community. And we're always working to host new events like Winterfest, or we're actually doing a Swiftie summer night next month where we'll have a Taylor Swift tribute band. But all these fun events that we do on the ship go back into the ship to open new spaces. So definitely check those out. And we'll be opening new spaces again next year and maybe towards the end of the fall. So we're constantly working towards that.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Rehn. Is there anything else that maybe we didn't get to? I feel like we gave a good overview, and then we'll leave some things for a surprise when people get there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, please come out and see the new exhibits. Check out our new programs. We've got a new program running called Nauticus After Dark the end of summer and fall, where we're inviting 21 and up to come and experience the museum. Another note is that we have also reimagined our membership program. So we're the first attraction, to my knowledge, in the area that is now made these membership programs very flexible. We know that there are many blended families these days, or folks that want to bring their friends instead of their immediate family. So now you're able just to choose how many people you would like to visit with, and you can bring them. You could bring your dog. Just kidding, you can't bring your dog, but you can bring your neighbor, you can bring whoever. And those memberships are, because we're celebrating with this new opening, are 50% off right now. So if you head to nauticus.org, you can check that out. That offer does end at the end of the month, but it's a perfect way to get in here and experience the exhibits more than once and get ready for what's coming.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today. If you're watching, if you have any questions, head over to wavy.com and we can put you in some directions for Reimagine Nauticus information. And also, if you want to see, photos or different things like that, Nauticus has a ton of information on their website of the project and what's to come if you want some more details. So, Rehn, thank you so much, and look forward to, hearing about new things coming soon.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.